Hey, English 94. Welcome to week 3. I am super proud of all of you that were able to make it to our conferences in Zoom and drop in and say hi. So I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of you this week. Let's get started with this week's assignments. All right, so as always, I am starting in our weekly assignments and discussions link. It is the very first thing in our Google Space. It is the very first link in the quick links part of your announcement email at the bottom. So after watching the video that you're watching now, click on this and join me here. You'll see in here, just like all of our previous weeks, you have a list of the things that you should be doing between now and Monday, starting with reading, right? The class is called Integrated Reading and Writing. So the reading comes first. We should be up through chapters 12 all the way through chapter 12 by the end of this week in our novel, The Hate You Give. So if you are not that far, that should be your priority this week. I do just want to take a second to show you that in our link where it says class readings and videos, the very first link will take you to the full copy of the book. You see, I'm sharing it with you here now. You can read all through it right here on the internet if you don't yet have the book. It's not as great as having the book, but it will work if you needed to. Beyond that, moving on to our next thing, we have a poem this week. It's a really short poem. It's by Tupac Shakur, so I'm sure you've heard of his music, but a lot of people are less familiar with the fact that he wrote books and books of poetry. And we're going to use this poem as part of our discussion in class this week. Several things to watch, short videos on YouTube. One is just the author talking about her inspiration behind the book as we start thinking about connections to things that are going on in the book. The other one is about identity, still thinking about connections between things that are going on in the book. The last two, though, are about writing, right? It's all about free writing, how we get started in the most low stakes way, how we take ideas out of our head and just throw them down and then think about if we're going to use them later. Keeping that idea in mind, that idea of free writing. You do have your second paper assignment. It is in your Google folder. There's a link to it here so that you can read over what I'm asking you to do. It is all about the novel, The Hate You Give. We're about to the halfway point now. So you're going to have some options of things to talk about and thinking about connections to the things that you've been reading about. That takes us to our do section. There are 2 things to do this week. One, as I said in the beginning of the video, if you were unable to drop in for conferences or for office hours last week or today, your last opportunity is tomorrow, which would be Wednesday, to make up your conference from 5:30 to 6 p.m. All of that information, including the link to join, is included in the link with this, in the email with this video. So see that. And the last thing, of course, is your discussion post. You all are getting really good at this. So this week, just like last week, there are 3 things for you to reply to in my comment. Start off with your name. Number 1 is going to always be one word that explains your overall reaction to what you read in the last week. And for me, it was just anxiety. It was just so much going on with the police and the funeral and school, and like everything just seems to really be just, coming to a head in Star's life. Number 2 says main idea, pick a chapter. I picked chapter 6. I hope you all pick a variety of different chapters. You can pick 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, or 12. So everybody doesn't need to pick the same one. In a sentence or 2, just summarize what's the main idea, what happened in that chapter in a sentence or 2. And the last part, that number 3, is what we're really concentrating on this week, and that's connections. So in your own words, I'd like you to connect something from the poem from Tupac Shakur, The Rose That Grew in Concrete, to something that you read in the book. Is there something that it reminds you of, or you think it's describing, anything at all? And there's no answer that's too out there, too far, or too simple. It's whatever occurs to you. So you'll see in my response, I said that I think the concrete that he's talking about in the poem really is a metaphor. It kind of represents, communities that are difficult to grow up in. And in the book, that community is Garden Heights. Last, of course, you're going to reply right here in Google to my message and to your classmates. And that's how we're talking. So hopefully all of that makes sense to you all. It looks like you are doing a pretty great job from my end. I know that I've gotten emails from a couple of you about wanting to go over things in person. So I will be on campus on Wednesday. So I'll try to get back to your emails. Maybe we can set up a phone call. But if any of you are struggling, that's always an option. We can meet in Zoom. Hopefully for your drop-in conferences, we can talk on the phone, whatever it is that you all need to do to be comfortable with the work that we're doing. So with that said, I hope you have a great week 3 and are enjoying the novel. Bye, people.